Chapter 29, The Versifier. Jim Garfield summarized his instructions to Mary Elizabeth Jones. This version of Panorama contains a versifier. You need to ask him questions point blank. Are you an informant? Are you a snitch? Are you currently working for a law enforcement agency? Are you telling the truth? You got to talk to him like you're cross-examining a witness. But try to do it in a relaxing way. Make him feel at home. Would you listen to yourself? I'm supposed to relax him while cross-examining him? What should I do? Rub his feet? Jim Garfield moaned. Okay, relaxation isn't everything. Play the scorned woman. Ask him who he's been fucking since he left you. Then ask him if he's an informant. But make sure you ask the right questions. And make sure you ask the questions right. They argued until Jim Garfield cut her off abruptly. Just do it, he reminded her that Ulysses would be arriving soon and the plan would fall apart if he was still around. Chi and Pi had taken Brecker and Franz Wilhelm to the pediatrician. Mary Elizabeth Jones had taken the day off from work. The house was empty. The stars were aligned. It had to be today. Before leaving, Jim Garfield converted the Panorama to a multi-room tape recorder and flipped on the versifier. By entering a remote view password, he would be able to use his cell to monitor the conversation and chart the versifier as he carved up his T-bone at Brudeman's Steakhouse. Jim Garfield exited, and about 20 minutes later, he was making his way through the service line. Ulysses arrived at Mary Elizabeth Jones's house, chauffeured by Casey Whittington. The Brudeman's genetically modified steer produced a proprietary T-bone steak that was 30% larger than most T-bones. It was a nice feature, but not as nice as the steak knives. Brudeman's gave every diner an oversized, hardwood-handled, nano-sharp, made-in-America utensil that offered the customer a high-tech, primal experience. Every patron felt cavely, if not kingly, carving their beef with cutlery that could cut through sheet metal. For this reason, every Brudeman's knife had a tracking chip in it, in its oak, ash, or cherry handles. Fortunately for the customer who wanted the big knife, sharp blade experience at home, Brudeman's offered several varieties and sets that could be purchased for roughly the cost of a monthly car payment. Jim Garfield sat at a small table by himself with his ear clip displayed so that no one dared strike up conversation with him. Then he propped his cell on a table so he could monitor the versifier while carving his juiced T-bone into smaller than bite-sized pieces. The timing was perfect. Ulysses had followed Mary Elizabeth Jones into the V-room, and she had seated him for maximum sonic fidelity. "Is Garfield doing you any good with his pencil, Dick?" Ulysses inquired out of the blue. Jim Garfield was taken off guard by the question, but Mary Elizabeth Jones was prepared. "And what makes you think he has a pencil dick?" she asked with feigned politeness. "He ain't big like me." "If the room was dark, I'm not sure I could tell the difference," she stated sincerely, and then continued in an icy tone. "Except Jim wouldn't be saying, 'I love you' every 2 seconds and tell me he couldn't live without me." Ulysses looked at her sadly. "Mary, I had a nervous breakdown, and then my family locked me away." Jim Garfield savored the fleshy cut of steer as he monitored the conversation. Brudeman's might just be the next big thing in casual dining. The salad was cold and crisp. The fried medley contained potatoes, onion rings, sweet potatoes, green tomatoes, and mushrooms. It was served in a dish that kept the contents kitchen hot, but could be lifted without a potholder. The T-bone was arguably too tender, but Jim Garfield was not given to argument on such matters. And, of course, there was the oversized nano knife. the perfect dining experience to monitor an argument between the mother of one's child and her ex-lover. I didn't think you'd ever hook up with a convict. That shit could get you in big trouble. Is that a veiled threat? No. Do I have to buy your silence? No. Then why did you bring it up? I just thought you were smarter than that. Are you wearing a wire? Fuck no. His comment registered as truth on the veracifier. Are you in any legal trouble? No. Probable truth. Are you working for a law enforcement agency? There was a pause, and Jim Garfield put his fork down and clenched his knife even tighter. Then Ulysses spoke. You got one of them veracifiers, don't you? The long silence was broken by Ulysses. This model panorama comes with a veracifier. Dig it. Jim Garfield could hear both of them breathe. That room has great acoustics, he reminded himself. Okay, Ulysses started once more. Okay, you can ask me anything you like. Mary Elizabeth Jones did not hesitate. Do you plan to rat me out about the father of my second son? No. Truth. Are you a snitch? No. Truth. Are you an informant? No. Truth. Have you ever discussed me behind my back? Hey, girl, I bragged about you. Probably true. Have you ever disclosed information of a legal nature about me to anyone? You are a federal probation officer. To mention that basic fact is to disclose information of a legal nature about you. Veracity undetermined. No excess indicators. Have you ever told anyone about our relationship? Yes. True. Have you ever told anyone that you fathered Brecker? Yes. True. Have you ever told anyone in your family about Brecker? No. Falsehood. Did you come here to shake me down for money? No, but I would like a loan till I get back on my feet. Veracity undetermined. Am I in danger if your family catches up with me? Did he nod? Did he shrug? He wasn't about to implicate his family. Ulysses is alert, Jim Garfield said to himself. Are you mentally ill? Yes. True. What is your diagnosis? It depends on who's doing the diagnostics. Veracity uncertain. Do you have any legal charges against you? No. True. Are you employed? No. True. Why are you here? To get myself reestablished. Maybe get a loan from you till I can get a job. Veracity undetermined. There was a long silence, broken once more by Ulysses. Before you stop recording, I'm going to ask you a question. Would you run away with me and be my wife? No. Probable truth. With the questioning out of the way, Ulysses asked Mary Elizabeth Jones to delete the sound files after veracifying. She said she would. She agreed to loan him money, but wanted to talk about it outside. With that, they left the panorama behind. Jim Garfield was satisfied with Ulysses' answers, but he still did not trust him. He could figure out quickly that Franz Wilhelm's father was the source of Mary Elizabeth Jones's riches. Then Ulysses might try to shake him down for hush money. He might try to shake down all of his caseload and all of their associates too. Didn't matter that he was up to his neck in crime just a short while ago. He was a lawman, and he could still pull rank if he had to. And he was also crazy. That was indisputable. No telling what he might be planning. Jim Garfield's thoughts were put on hold with his whimsical purchase of an 8-piece set of cherry-handled steak knives and a 5-piece oak-handled chef set. Regardless of what Ulysses had up his sleeve, Jim Garfield would have a fun evening playing with his toys.